Simon, in a series of videos, we've been talking about how you got your conversion rate from 31% up to over 50% in a
Yes.
period of a year. We've been talking about where you went out with valuers, found out where they were going wrong, you gave them some training, and now we're in stage 3, putting it to the test. So tell me what happened.
Okay, so we trained our valuers on those 4 key issues.
And they're in stage 2 if you want to go and have a look at them in a previous video.
And going through those, they were...
Let's remind them. Go on.
Yeah, okay. So the 4 key things that we found we needed to be trained on was agenda setting.
Yes.
The next thing was questioning skills during the walk around. The next thing was presentation of price. And the final thing was features and benefits. And we'd done the training on that. And then we asked them to go out and test that in the field to see what it was like.
How did you get on?
It was interesting. The first thing that I noticed was every single one of the men and women that were out there wanted to try those things. Sometimes they didn't quite fully understand it, but they really, really wanted, and that's a key thing to an exercise.
That's quite good, because sometimes you can get a bit of kickback from valuers.
Yes, you can.
You know what some of them are like.
But what we tried to do, actually, in the observed appointments that I went to and in the training, was to provide a safe environment. So, for example, when it came to agenda setting, after each appointment I'd been on with the first time around, I'd sit in the car outside the appointment with the individual concerned and say, look, this is what I think about the agenda setting that you've just done. What do you think? They would accept or not, the case may be, and then they would practice in stage 3. They'd be practicing all of that agenda setting.
So what was the length of time? So it was January when you noticed the issue.
Yes.
You did the train. You
Did the
went out with them.
Yeah,
in the spring.
February, March. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when
Training April, May.
And when did you go out and test? When were you testing?
Okay, so they were testing June, July time.
Okay. So what sort of results did you get from that then?
The results were really, really impressive.
Wow.
First, yeah.
You didn't have a dip or anything like that?
Honestly, the figures are so... If I showed you the figures, I'll give you the quarter-on-quarter figures. But if I showed you the monthly figures, you can literally see the graph moving up bit by bit. But...
How did you get buy-in so easily?
Okay, it wasn't easy. It isn't easy to challenge people, particularly good people like Thomas Morris valuers. It isn't easy, and it isn't easy for them to be open and vulnerable enough to say, yeah, we'll have a go at these things.
You know what these values are like? They're very... What makes them so brilliant is the fact they're people, but they don't like criticism.
No, they don't. But that's why I've said this before and I'll say it again. People have got to be vulnerable and open enough and smart enough, frankly, to understand that sometimes they need some guiding and some feedback.
Do you think valuers generally are open to that sort of feedback?
I think probably not. I mean, you've used the word that I used there, feedback. I think words are important in life in general, but particularly in these sort of situations. If you say to somebody, I'm going to watch you and I'm going to criticise you, they're not going to be very open to it. If you say to people, I'm going to observe you and then give you some feedback, then I think you'll find they'll be a lot more open to it.
So, how did they feel about making these changes then?
Okay, I can't tell you clearly exactly how they felt. I can only tell you how they behaved. And the way they behaved led me to conclude that on balance, and the results demonstrate that on balance they were happy with what they've been trained upon and what they've been encouraged to do.
What were their biggest issues?
I'd say, well, the 4 biggest issues I've already alluded to. I would say the biggest...
up here.
Oh, up here. I think the biggest issue was that a number of them are very experienced and very, very successful. I mean, we're talking about successful people. We're not talking about people who are useless and trying to get them to be quite good. Yeah. We're talking about people who are already good and trying to get them to be exceptional. And that was probably the biggest challenge. Well, this is the way I've always done it type of thing.
Did it help that you have multiple valuers and they were able to help each other? Or
yeah, that did help a lot, and that did help. That's an excellent observation, actually. In some of the training that we were doing, you could see them helping each other, giving suggestions, giving direct feedback, and getting used to that sort of feedback culture.
Okay, so how are they feeling? We are now getting towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
How are they feeling now?
My belief, I mean, again, I'm sorry to be pedantic, you'd have to ask them how they're feeling. I can only tell you how they're performing.
Yes.
And they're performing a lot better.
I think you were over 50% at the moment, aren't you?
Absolutely right, yeah.
Okay, what I'd like to do is talk about stage 4 where you introduced a new presentation system, with the
Yes.
vendor. Is that okay with
Yep,
you?
absolutely.
And then in stage 5, I'd like to go through those 4 points that you brought up in stage 2,
Yes.
which was the agenda setting, questioning skills on the walk round, presentation of price and features,
Yes.
benefits analysis. And if you don't mind, in stage 5, in stage 5, I'd like you to go through and give some great answers for the guys out there. Is
I'll
that
do my
all right?
best. No
You're a
problem.
beautiful man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks,
Smashing.
man.